Yeah.
All right. Recruiting.
Uh-oh.
I know.
It's July 8th, I guess. There you go.
They're all making picks, man. There are a lot of picks are in. These are initial selections, of course. A lot of top 100 picks over July 4th weekend. Rivals, 68 of the top 100 on Rivals have picked. They're going to 21 different schools, which I find notable. It should be above. We'll see where it ends up. Kind of hard to project with recruiting, but that could be more than they used to. 25 of 73 top 100 recruits in the 24/7 composite they're going to 25 different schools. The 73 recruit commits. 25 of them are going to different schools. We've heard Ohio State, Oregon is loading up. They had a huge weekend with a whole bunch of 5 stars. People are saying Phil Knight's trying to buy a team before he moves on. I don't. How do you say this nicely?
I was wondering how you were going to phrase that. Made a pause. You gave just enough pause to get me thinking, now this is going to be good.
Phil Knight would like to win a national title.
Before he moves on.
Before he moves on to the big swoosh in the sky.
I think he's 86. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I think he's at least 86. Yeah.
You can't wait for the UMass to finish its football stadium. Let's just put it that way. No. Neither can any of us. But
before he moves on, like he's going from 2nd to 3rd grade.
My apologies.
You're going, the euphemisms like they use when they fire coaches. New Mexico is moving on from coach so-and-so. Yeah, no, you're firing him. In this case, moving on is not being fired.
Rutgers. We talked about Rutgers recruiting recently. I told you. They keep landing 4 stars. They're now 13th on the Rivals list. They'll probably drop later, but a whole bunch of 4 stars, include a bunch in state. SMU. They bought their way into the ACC, and now they're landing some recruits. This flipped a QB from TCU. Iron skillet flip. You get in the iron skillet, they flip it. Boom, you're on the other team. Sonny Dykes knows about that. He did that. They're doing pretty well. But the one I wanted to do a brief topic on was USC. They had a whole bunch of guys early. In the last month, they lost two 5-star defensive linemen from Georgia, a 4-star safety from Jacksonville, and Juju Lewis, their star quarterback, has been flying around the country posing for. We talked about him recently when he and Shedeur Sanders did a photo shoot where Shedeur was handing over the keys to the Colorado Buffs while Juju sat in a Colorado-themed throne. Fantastic. If you're USC, you can't be feeling really good about this recruiting situation. You've got Lincoln Riley in the fold. You're heading to the Big Ten, and you now have all this Big Ten money, and you're not paying calimony like UCLA. And recruiting is not spinning really well. I'll spare Ross a little bit of the recruiting talk, but Pat, your thoughts on this?
Oh, it's fascinating. It is, because I think we all anticipated Lincoln Riley absolutely crushing it at USC, and it hasn't fully played out that way so far on the field, or now as we're seeing off in recruiting. And, one of the things that maybe a flaw in strategy here, they've gone heavy into the Southeast, and that's who's decommitting from them. You mentioned a couple guys from Georgia, a guy from Jacksonville, Juju Lewis is from Atlanta. If you're going to go into SEC territory, it's tough to get them. I mean, you may get initial commitments, but when the heat comes back at the end of, hey, we can do this for you, we can do that for you, you can stay home, you can play in the SEC, that's tough for a lot of these guys to turn down. You can get some of them, but given where USC is in California, you would think that they could do very, very well with recruits that they could actually keep there and be able to build a nationally competitive program. So, I wonder if this is a case of maybe reach exceeding your grasp and them trying to go further than maybe they should have. We'll see how it plays out. They may still end up being fine on signing day, and then even more importantly, whenever the portal goes back into action. But for now, definitely some interesting, unexpected turbulence for Lincoln.
Very unexpected. You guys remember there was a few stories have come out the last 6-8 months or so about USC's NIL collective. Some parents had, I think, publicly voiced their disappointment, maybe in payments or lack thereof. So I'm sure that has not helped. We're going to look back at. We talked about this plenty, but we're going to look back at the NIL era and look at all this crazy these promises that were broken, and that's a place that apparently had happened the last few months.
Guardrails. I don't know. This is they're ranked 22nd. They actually got to get some guys. A lot of kids in California are uncommitted. For some reason, the California kids are not committing yet.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
They could finish well.
USC, you wanted, as both USC and the Big Ten, you expected this to be the program to come roaring in with a lot of momentum. And it isn't happening right now. And that is, who knows? Oregon is roaring into the Big Ten with a lot of momentum. So that's a huge one.
And as usual, Oregon recruiting well in California. That's how they kind of built the program, and they're extending it and continuing it now. Doesn't matter who the coach is at Oregon, you've got to be able to recruit California, and they have.